what's your secret to like turning all of like, the creative chaos that might be there within the team into a repeatable success pattern?
Yeah. Look, I would say, the number one thing a product person should do is create the sense of clarity for the cross-functional team around what is the problem, who has the problem, how do I repeatably find that problem in the market, and what is a good solution that we should build that's differentiated. And I'll just make a point about AI, even though you didn't ask. I think you can put all the AI tools out there. It's not going to be a substitute for that judgment making, right? I think it's a great asset to have if you were drowning in ticket management and reviewing Zoom recordings and generating slide deck upon slide deck. So I think AI co-pilots as an assistant for a lot of the overhead of product development and release management, I think is amazing, but it's not a substitute for I really listen to this customer and I have a perspective on what they're saying. And I think it's universal in our user base or in the market, right? So I would say to answer your question, what I really look for and what I try to do is deep, deep customer empathy and understanding. And there's a bunch of ways you can do that. You can directly spend time with customers, or you can spend time with proxies of customers, or you can do both. And you can look at data and you can look at qual. And I think the real job of product management is to take all the inputs. And that's why I'm so excited about AI, because AI can say, give me all the inputs and then I'll try to make sense of it. And then
Yeah.
you decide how you want to weight it. You decide whether what the sales team is saying this quarter versus what the support team has been saying for 5 years, versus what your power users are saying versus what the Gartner analyst told you, how much to weight each thing. Because I really love this quote, and I use a lot of quotes in my day to day from Rumi, which is, the truth is a mirror that shattered and fell on the earth. And everybody picked up a piece of glass and said, I have the truth. And I feel like product management is a little bit like that, where you can talk to a team and they'll say, this is what's happening. I can tell you because I have a ticket, I have a customer, I have an anecdote, I have a story. And it is true, but it's not the truth. The truth is fragmented, and your job is to stitch it together fast enough such that you can solve the problem and get commercial success. And so that is what I try to do with most product teams is take all that chaos, which is all these inputs and all these ideas, and say, let's arbitrate the truth and how it will be revealed to the market. Because if you come up with something that is partial truth, the market will reject it and say, this solution doesn't solve all my problems. If you come up with something that is so far ahead of its time, is so forward thinking, the market will also reject it because they don't have the maturity to actually utilize it, right? So you need something which sort of meets the maturity and solves the problem, but is forward thinking enough that it grows as user literacy and maturity grows.
I really like that what you shared, the quote about truth, and it is so true. Like everybody has like this is the truth that I have, and or sometimes it is like because so and so said so, and bringing all of that together is a challenge for a product leader, but that's what you're there for, and at the same time. And all of this balancing act that I'm sure you also have to do in addition to sort of reining in the chaos,
Yeah.
especially between strategic planning and execution, or if you think about innovation versus consistency, how do you
Yeah.
think about those aspects and balancing them?
Yeah. So look, if you can first agree that fundamentally we're playing a game of judgment calls, there's no precision here, then you can start to say, okay, then if I'm tackling these problems, really the best thing I can do is sequence them in the right order. In a long enough horizon, everything the customers are asking for will be built and solved. It's just a question of what do we want to do now, next, and later. So I try to bring time as an asset to sequence it out because, I'm sure your listeners have this problem a lot. They're like, I have my plans, I have my roadmap, and now there's a big deal that's disrupting the roadmap, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We just need to talk about whether we believe in that more now, next, or later. Oh, we were on our way and everything was fine. And then the CEO had a brilliant idea. And now what do we do? It's disrupting us. And I think people get so rigid about their plans. And I think it's okay to say, I'm learning new things. Let me shuffle things around. So I'm a big believer in fungibility, in shuffling the decks. And, I used to work with a guy who had a very interesting job. He was basically chief escalation officer for customers. And he used to tell me, now, next, later is great. I would love a bucket called never. Never. We will never do this because we just don't believe in it, right? So, for example, we're mobile first. We will never build this desktop application. We are cloud native. We're never going to do this on-prem thing because the customer will show up and say, I've heard good things. I need you to take what is a core differentiator of your value prop and just bend that for me, and I'll give you $1 million. And sales will go after it, and the CEO will get excited about it. And your job is to say, from a judgment call, I'm saying this is now, next, later, or never.